All right, I did capture images. Let me just give you a timestamp. It's currently Friday, June 11, 2021. It's 12:17 in the morning. I am at third-party facilitating venue, Ontario Museum of History and Arts. Amtrak is engaged in, and by Amtrak what I mean is the state is using the amplified sound of a train, and because the museum is abutting a train track which belongs to Amtrak, this Amtrak is engaged in the pattern of conduct. The state is using the presence of that train track as the guise under which this entity is stalking with audible activity pursuant to what I'm doing on the internet. Okay, that is the legal jargon. The state is engaging in ongoing criminal obstruction of justice because they do not want the following addresses, noting third-party group stalkers who were engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring as I documented it on January 3rd, 2021. And so while I'm in the midst of publishing this information onto my website, which is the evidence of the people engaging in criminal monitoring with the state while they are in relevant position, while I am at third-party facilitating venue 711 located at 636 North Vine Avenue in Ontario, California on January 13, 2021, and all in relevant position, the following addresses who are all monitoring with the state while the state's fake sun is over this location, while the state is directing light, just like it does the same exact behavioral pattern, which was also the ongoing conduct while I was sleeping in the car at 603 North Vine Avenue, sleeping in my vehicle before it was stolen by the state and the people of the state at 714 North Vine Avenue, or 713 North Vine Avenue, by the Ontario Police acting via bill and wags. That's the people of the state engaging in monitoring and theft of my property, which is criminal obstruction of justice, while you're engaging in harassment. So this is the publishing of these addresses that the state is not stopping from getting on the internet. Not only am I going to publish this information, this is the state's feudal pattern of conduct, which is why federal policy is going to be designed the way it is, which is why the people of the state of California are going to be prosecuted in the manner that they will be. And this is the publishing on my podcast of these addresses of third parties who are criminals. They're sex offenders, and they were monitoring with the state under the state's fake sun while it was over me at that venue while they were engaged in monitoring and harassment and threatening conduct. This is 711 at 636 North Vine Avenue in Ontario, California. Woodside Senior Apartments located at 408 West G Street in Ontario, California. Courtyard VS Apartments located at 501 West G Street in Ontario, California. 713 North Vine Avenue in Ontario, California. Superior Property Management located at 704 North Vine Avenue in Ontario, California. 710 North Vine Avenue, Ontario, California. Third-party group stalker 714 North Vine Avenue, Ontario, California. Third-party group stalker located at 717 North Vine Avenue in Ontario, California. This is Amtrak. 418 West G Street in Ontario, California. 409 West G Street in Ontario, California. 411 West G Street in Ontario, California. 403 West G Street in Ontario, California. And 630 North Vine Avenue in Ontario, California, which is right next door to 7-Eleven at 636 West North Vine Avenue in Ontario, California. And that is just the third-party group stalkers who are in the immediate vicinity. Again, like I said, monitoring with communication devices spans a radius. Those are just the addresses speaking to what are the criminal activity via communication devices in concert with the government, the state, while I am at that venue, which is 7-Eleven, walking to and from that venue. Okay, it spans even beyond that. All right, and this is the state's criminal activity, which results in the louder microphone that I speak in when I talk about the criminal activity of this entity. It is going on the internet, and then the criminal endeavor to try to stop me from putting on the internet is going to be documented as well. I want to be clear, those third-party group stalkers, it's going to be published on my website. This is criminal activity of the state of California, and when you monitor with the state, you're going to be prosecuted with the state. It's 12:21 a.m., and that's the P.O.C. It is Friday, June 11th, 2021. It is currently 10:14 a.m. And the state's light source is directly over me at the entrance of the San Bernardino County Public Health Clinic's building. All right, and so this is the specific following, stalking with light, down to where I am standing. All right, it is not sufficient that the state follows and remain with its light source. The state remains over my head at the specific precise location where I'm standing. including while inside of a building. That's what you saw in video where I was at the Ontario OVITT Family Community Library, and the state's fake sun is on the opposite side where the Page 1 Cafe end is, and I was facing College of Law, Laverne. That's what the state does with its fake sun. That's what the state is doing right now with its fake sun. While San Bernardino County is engaged in sexually violent monitoring inside of the bathroom, and that is the activity creation inside of that private space while they are monitoring and concentrating on behalf of the government. And San Bernardino County represents the state acting directly, by the way. That San Bernardino County is a state actor. And so it is, I did take an image of that. It's 10:15 a.m. And I also caught video of the state's light source over me while the state was amplifying plane activity in a jet plane, a white and blue jet plane that was already flying over the parking lot. Because as I look up, it has already passed me. So the state starts amplifying the sound of the plane jet. 4WKX874 as I make a different turn. All right, making a different turn from walking north on Euclid Avenue on the sidewalk to walking into the parking lot of San Bernardino County Public Health Clinics. License plate 298YV, that's handicap, 170TW, 7VMV933, 6TCH000, MBK3315, that's a Texas plate, CU827, handicap. These are San Bernardino County vehicles. Let me read these license plates anyway. San Bernardino County says California exempt 1535422. Vehicle number 001614. San Bernardino County 8HNC054. Oh no, this is not San Bernardino County. This is Allied Universal. Engaged in the sexually violent conduct as well. All right, in relevant position. And this is a man. This is what the state does. All right. This is a sexually violent conduct, irrespective of your gender, and you're engaged in targeting an American citizen, which is sexually violent conduct. When you are engaging in that monitoring conduct while you're even inside of a private space, doesn't matter whether you're a man or whether you are male. With regard to the state's engagement in the pattern of conduct, that is. Invasion of privacy is invasion of privacy. The exposure of your genitalia and intentionally creating audible activity for the purpose of monitoring you when you're not even holding a communication device. This is just sexually motivated, just demented, sick, perverted conduct. Okay, and this is Allied Universal engaged in that 8HNC054. State license number PP014417. Allied Universal is private security. That's a third party. License plate 8HHL062, license plate 5DLB054. Understand that's audible activity while the state's fake sun is remaining over my head as I walk in the parking lot of San Bernardino County Public Health Clinics located at 150 East Holt Boulevard, 8BLX971. That is why you document third-party group stalkers. 6CDA736. Western Allied Incorporated, parked at third-party facilitating venue, Ontario Museum of History and Arts. Group stalkers sitting outside of the museum in relevant position and operation of a communication device under a fake sun. They're group stalking, okay? 5YEF458, 7MAB246, 7KKM093, 5NDC563, City of Ontario, license 1573151. And that is Western Allied Incorporated, acting with Amtrak. So let me show you what Amtrak is doing. It's just sitting, moving very slowly on the track, sounding, what you heard that crash, that Okay, I did take a video right now. That's why you hear the pause, capturing in video what you were looking at. That's Western Allied, that's Dietz Towing, City of Ontario, that's Amtrak. That is the third-party facilitating venue, the Ontario Museum of History and Art, San Bernardino County. All of these actors, commercial and private, they are all representing one group. This is the state, and this is state acting vicariously through the people, and you also have the state acting directly, for example, through what is the San Bernardino County, okay? The state placing its light source over your parking lot, over your property, over you. You're not ignorant of that. You're a psychopath that no longer has any guise, all right? And actually, it never was a guise. It was waiting for the right person to expose the criminal activity of a demonic-rooted nature for monitoring American citizens, because it's not a guise. If you're looking at it, you're looking at what are weirdos who are engaging in blatant criminal conduct under what is absolutely not the sun. On no day and no way is that the sun. And so what you have is them engaging in blaring criminal conduct before your face, and it's easy to document. 8HMV050, 8EYJ827, 8EWA875, 8A07867. 6ZEL629. I documented that group stalker before. 8PTN608, 6YXW297, 7EML540. And I want to get, 8BYA920. Alrighty. That is P.O.C. It is currently 10:21 a.m. That's audible activity for all the group stalkers to monitor to while the fake sun is over my head. That's how you monitor with communication devices. That's Southwest Airlines. Not just monitoring, sexually molesting, violating with every other actor. 5374WG, that's an out-of-state plate. 8AZB703, 8CJD478, 6WTV133, 7LLN134. And this Western Allied Corporation, it's got a W as its logo. It's a red van. Its website is WASOCAL. The license plate is 46586 Larry 2. It's an air conditioning service. The phone number is 562-944-6341, and a 714 number. That's Orange County zip code. Area code 523-1990. The contractor's license 198821. They're monitoring. They're engaged in group stalking. And doing so at third-party facilitating venue, Ontario Museum of History and Art. Understand, while I'm inside of 150 East HOLT Boulevard, they're in relevant position. They are all monitoring while I'm in the bathroom as well, including this vehicle. These buildings are in relevant position. They're all monitoring together. This is the maintenance of a fishbowl. This is the significance of the documentation of the state's stalking with a light source so that the people of the state can monitor, which is an ongoing unlawful threat, which they shall also be prosecuted for. There's also sexual violence, touching with your criminal instrumentality, so that you can criminally monitor with communication devices. 8CMN243. BDW352. City of Ontario, just patrolling in the parking lot, studying their communication devices just like everybody else. They're just doing it in commercial vehicle as though they're doing some job. Their job is to monitor with the state while they're doing it under a fake sun. They're psychopaths. That's the municipality, the City of Ontario. Group stalker,
acting with, commercially representing I.I.S towing, group stalking under all the same facts. All right, loitering in relevant position, pacing back and forth in front of his tow truck. Understand this is Satan operating nothing but a tow truck. Impossible light activity while he engages in the demonic pacing, making a U-turn using that truck. Gets in to turn it on. That creates light activity and audible activity, even as he closes the door as I approach on the sidewalk. I identified him in the video. Let me identify this again on my podcast. License plate 37910U2. I.I.S towing spelled D-I-E-T-Z. The address of this business is 1300 East Holt Boulevard in Ontario, California, number 033-8124, P.O.C. There's a commercial for I.I.S, all right? And I'm also showing you what is the impossible light activity next to the vehicle. This is how you know you're dealing with Satan, all right? That's no light activity that's occurring from the sun. This is the state's engineered light while he starts his truck intentionally under these lit circumstances in relevant position to monitor, okay? That's what they're doing, and it is satanic. Alrighty, I just captured some more pivotal video. What's that? I know, that's fine. I don't need to talk to you, Santiago. Have a good day. Anyway, that's P.O.C. That's audible activity while impossible light activity is on the sidewalk. That's how the people act with the state. Understand that's not that actual vehicle sounding that loudly. 7 PEG 805 USPS crossing path. Audible activity by 5EPZ212. License plate 20802R2. License plate 8GQM484 or 8GOM484. Let me clarify something for you. A group stalker representing a threat. Yeah, bye. That's audible activity. He's not. That's exactly what I was going to address right now. He's acting with Amazon Prime, who's flying over the building, and understand his audible activity while he's outwardly smiling and saying "God bless." That's audible activity while he's threatening my live monitoring. And this is super amplification of a plane that you can't hear that loudly. All right, monitoring with 71048D2, 6L ZP221, 6WHB 859, 7POV 462, 7JMX 364, 8SRX 330, 8VOC 253. That was Amazon Prime. Flying over 150 East Holt, error mark that knows it's been documented. Vehicle number 24124 Sam, crossing path as well. Error mark, engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, engaged in kidnapping because they were monitoring me while I was kidnapped in concert with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Understand this psychopath that I'm documenting knows that it's being documented, okay? And so you have error mark that engages in monitoring a relevant position, just like they were monitoring a relevant position while I was kidnapped inside of San Bernardino Sheriff's Department facilities. These group stalkers, 59789J2, and if they're not American citizens, they're going to be deported. 6RBB691, license plate BP69K650. I can't really see that one. That's a paper plate. Impossible light activity streaming across the sidewalk as they are driving south on Lemon, crossing path with me, acting with those group stalkers whose license plate I'm reading them. Speaking of deportation, another one crosses path and impossible light activity streaming across the sidewalk. It's group conduct. Anyway, like I said, first of all, 2 points. Error mark, a third-party group stalker monitoring while I'm kidnapped inside of West Valley Detention Center, inside of Central Detention Center, and inside of Glen Helen Rehabilitation Center. And acting with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, monitoring while I'm kidnapped. This is the same with commercial actor Omnitrans. This is the people of the state of California engaged in monitoring. First of all, San Bernardino County engaged in the same. Charles Kelly, Lisa Kelly, Tracy Banks engaged in the same monitoring at these facilities while I was kidnapped. All right, and engaging in what I.I.S towing just engaged in, appearing as though in some amicable fashion, like they are there to support or be friendly, 5 ELM 439 and 7 VPR 798, when they are monitoring you, okay? And that's what I wanted to address. I.I.S towing, under the fake sun, you can smile. I mean, it's exceedingly foolish to engage in threatening when you represent the government. There's going to be prosecutorial, excuse me, let me get this, 6DQE 854. There's going to be a prosecutorial response for every word, which is audible activity, that's coming out of your mouth. And it's not just that idiot that is speaking, it's the entirety of the group with which that third party idiot is speaking on behalf of and in concert with. 91436E2. And so you have him what is smiling. And let me also teach you something else. This is how Satan operates outside of when he loses his control and forgets that he's supposed to be a passive-aggressive stalker. All right? But when he's conducting himself as though he is in control, and understand I'm talking about an invisible influence. We get this commercial integrated pest control management, monitoring light activity, loitering in relevant position, and possible light activity across me while he's standing on the sidewalk in the shade next to me. 39794X1. Integrated pest control management, IPCM. That's that license plate. Monitoring with 6JDW421. All right. He smiles. Says, hi, God bless you. Says, oh, the window wouldn't come down. That's why I couldn't say hi. And you're analyzing the environment, not the form with which they're engaging in the pattern of conduct. That's exactly what I mean. Satan relies on the external. Satan relies on the shell. Satan relies on the package, if you will, that you are placing this life-threatening criminal activity. Right? 7GBC 347. So like I said before, a group stalker coming by and saying hi under all the same facts is not friendly. They're not being friendly. They are monitoring you, okay? And that's exactly what he was doing, albeit in a controlled manner. Good job, because many of these demonic possessed stalkers lose control, especially as I document them, which I document that as well. 5VVV 101, I'm glad the group stalker is out. It's a heavy-set Latina female. That's whose license plate I've been documenting. Affiliated with 280 North Lemon Apartments in Ontario Town Square. 6XRZZ or 6XRZ281. Pest control going inside of third-party facilitating venue, 280 North Lemon Apartments, okay? P.O.C. And so that's what I.I.S was doing. I want to make sure I specify that. That was audible activity, as he says, God bless, as he says, he's uttering something out of his window as he drives by after I just caught that incredible light activity. It's not just weird and freaky, it's satanic, all right? And so this is what, it's nothing but, in other words, audible activity, acting with the state that is present over my head in front of his tow truck, where he is intentionally present to monitor and using what is friendly speech to create audible activity to monitor and continue to threaten my life, because that's what it is. All right. And so I want to speak to that. And that's what third-party group stalkers were monitoring me inside of the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department facilities. Aramark knows very well that it's been documented as of late, as I added that information onto my website, Aramark Crossing Path. Aramark crossed path before. I documented them at the intersection of HOLT Boulevard and Bonneview. And I spoke to it on my podcast when that occurred. But I'm just speaking to the knowledge that this entity has, obviously, because it's monitoring my documentation. And I just want to speak to that because that's going to the callous, all right? That's going toward what is the psychopath, the prosecution, the punishment of that entity that engages in the criminal activity and the state of mind that they maintain while they engage in that criminal activity. And that is the ongoing criminal activity with specific knowledge, okay? It is 10:33 a.m., and that is the P.O.C. I am at third-party facilitating venue, Ontario OVITT Family Community Library, and I just want to be clear, you're looking at what is the maintenance of the state's light source inside of the venue and on top and around the venue as the state's light source remains, literally from the museum to the library and remains for the day. And as I showed you in video, as I move from the library, You saw the state's fake sun right there behind the trees. It was not setting in the distance. It was right there as I moved what was south on Lemon, and it was behind the trees while I've got double shadows, all right? And move right back as I go back toward the library. That's all the state is doing on a constant basis. And so this is speaking to what the criminal activity is. I identify actors, that is the people of the state, monitoring with that entity that is dragging a light source in the sky to remain over me. That's an ongoing threat that they are waging as I document them, and they're going to be prosecuted for that. This is exactly what the third-party facilitating venue Ontario OVITT Family Community Library is engaged in, while the psychopath is just listening and monitoring and engaged in an ongoing criminal effort as well to try to obstruct the ability to publish that evidence against itself. It's not going to happen. I'm going to publish every single ounce of the documentation, and all of this criminal activity is going toward the totality of the creation of federal policy. You are aware and you have witnessed on your own through my podcast, through all of my documentation, how the true identity of this entity. All right, as I've not only exposed the fact that this is ongoing, but then you're looking at the true face of the government. You're looking at the true face of the people, okay, behind that mask. The government is hiding behind a mask of anonymity. That anonymity is provided by the multiplicity of faces that you supposedly don't know, all right? And also the anonymity that it maintains behind those whose name you do know, who are supposed to be, it's operating under the presupposition that they would, quote unquote, never engage in such conduct. How do you even conjure up this? This is all for the demise of that targeted individual that makes such allegations. This is the malice of the entirety of the system. And you are looking at, as you hear, for example, San Bernardino County utter lies out of its mouth, which is audible activity while they're threatening my life and monitoring, while I'm at their venues and they're engaged in sexually violating in concert with the government and the people of the state, all right? That is the true reality of the entity. It's going toward that policy that's to be created. It's going toward the intensity of that prosecution, all right? It is 10:36 a.m. and that is the P.O.C. All right, minions molesting with light as they go by, 7RHCO69. Now remember, all they're doing is driving by. Minions inside of the library are loitering in front of the door, coming in and out of the door, that's patrolling. Minions outside of the library, I'm sorry, that was inside the library. Minions outside of the library are driving in the turn circle while the state is molesting with light and assaulting with light, okay? Light that is never naturally occurring, okay? And so this is what they're doing while I'm standing inside. I'm standing under the structure of the Ontario OVITT Family Community Library entrance. They're monitoring inside of the library. They're monitoring outside of the library. And that's what I just want to document, because that's what they're doing right now, as I just completed that episode entrance as I walk from the museum to the library. Okay, that's what the minions are doing, and that's what they're doing inside, and they're doing it with minor children. Ontario OVITT Family Community Library and like venues to be prosecuted under such facts. All right, that's P.O.C. It's 10:37 a.m.
All right, Erica Lorraine Spencer here. It is Friday, June 11th, 2021. It's currently 2:16 p.m. This is to document my communication, again, with San Bernardino County. This is the Transitional Assistance Department, referred to as the TAD office. I did call the 877 number again. I spoke with someone, a third party, acting with the state, representing herself as Erica, and her number that I requested, she gives me the last four of an entire number. The last four she gives me is 2 Charlie 01, so 2C01, and I asked her for the totality of the number because, for example, David yesterday gave me a much longer number. The number she provides me, her name is Erica, number 36LSAM2C01. I am speaking with her, and the phone call ends at 2:15 p.m. This is, and after being on hold for a prolonged period of time, and understand that this is, when I'm talking about the entity that's monitoring, understand that there is no ordinary conduct that or ignorance of this is awareness that I'm calling. This is awareness what I'm calling about. It's awareness of what device I'm using as I'm calling. Okay, everything is deliberate with regard to what I'm documenting, and this is related to the pattern of conduct. And so I did call San Bernardino County. This is the ongoing denial. This is theft of an entitlement that the entity is due, and this is in violation of their own rules. But again, this is occurring under the pretext of the state's pattern of conduct, and San Bernardino County is acting as a state actor, not a third party. This is a state actor engaging in what is legally relevant. Under the analysis, this is harassment, and this is threatening conduct in concert with the entity that is ceaselessly monitoring, all right, and doing so, monitoring me at those state facilitating venues. Okay, this is monitoring conduct while I'm on my phone and calling about my entitlement that they have invalidly discontinued as a means of harassment and threatening, acting in concert with the state. As I leave economy in, I have spent the over $100 on groceries. The entity is aware of this, also aware of my documentation, okay, while I remain subject to federal group stalking and monitoring. And so this is the phone call that I communicated with in this phone call. I have sent the requested SAR-7, which again, this is new, right? This is a process which is required in writing, but this is a process that the county has not been abiding by. And so you are engaging in a surprise, ripping the rug underneath the feet, using what they have at their disposal when they feel like it, to engage in denying benefits. And again, denial of benefits in the past was not on any grounds of an SAR-7 or recertification, etc. They just stopped it, did not provide any written notice of it either, okay? This is absolutely unlawful conduct, even under their own rules, okay? But this is relevant. This is a bigger picture, right? This isn't just the ordinary administrative hearing with regard to a wrong decision that the county is making with regard to your benefits. This is analogous to an extraordinary act of a malicious prosecution. No. You are not going through government code 945 in order to address the state's conduct of maliciously prosecuting you. This is occurring under the fact pattern of a government that is monitoring with communication devices and ceaselessly engaged in criminal obstruction of justice. So this is the pretext behind everything that the entity is doing, and this is how you're looking at what is the bigger picture and how the entity is acting together. It is all interrelated, and this is the state acting. This is the government that acts through the people, all the ways in which it does so, okay? And so this is what San Bernardino County is engaging in, and this is documentation of that ongoing denial, stating that they cannot open a PDF file as I send the SAR-7, all right? And this is pursuant to which is absolutely illegal conduct. They don't have any legitimacy. They're monitoring, okay? And they are engaging in the ongoing tampering with the provision of an entitlement while they're engaging in criminal activity, and then providing whatever information they want to substantiate that conduct. All right, that's like taking money out of my bank account or taking money off of my debit card and then manufacturing the information after the fact and say, oh, it's because of some purchase in Mexico. All right, this is what the entity engages in, and you have no legitimacy where you're monitoring with the state, and San Bernardino County is monitoring. It is 2:20 p.m. and that is the P.O.C. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C. Additional notes with regard to San Bernardino County engaged in the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring, and how so in this regard engaging in what is the ongoing criminal obstruction of justice while the entity is interested in obstructing the ability to publish, engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring for that purpose as well. All right, not just for monitoring, but also to engage in harassment, to engage in threatening, to engage in any manner of seeking to obstruct publishing documentation which the entity is monitoring. Okay, so San Bernardino County engaged in, and as I spoke to this employee identifying herself as Erica. Okay, the entity likes to do that a lot, by the way, identifying herself as Erica, the same name that I have. And I want to speak to what is the engagement, acting in concert, facilitating P.O.C. While this actor on the phone who I communicated with, and I uploaded images of the conversation that I had, speaking to the phone records. So I uploaded an image of that, and I'm uploading images of what is the documentation, sending in 3 separate times the SAR-7, the semi-annual report, which again, this is a new request. This is a means of the entity using what it has at its disposal to engage in criminal harassment while it's monitoring, all right? And unlawfully seizing. This is while you're monitoring, you have absolutely no legitimacy whatsoever. It's actually theft, a pattern that San Bernardino County has engaged in, theft of entitlement that they are using to harass while they are monitoring, and doing so in concert. All of this is concerted conduct. Understand the removal of the entitlement for the EBT card, the removal from the hotel room where I remain subject to monitoring anyway, and also the conduct by Mercy House. This is all concerted conduct with the criminal motive of obstruction of justice. I just want to mention, while this actor identifying herself as Erica, stating that she did not have access to the PDF form that I submitted yesterday, and I just want to be clear, stating that she stated that because she could not access it in PDF, and understand the forms that are created are in PDF forms,
by the way, and it is also on the See for Yourself website, impossible to submit a Word format document of those forms, which is what she stated she would need. She needs a Word format. Oh, I suggest you submit it in Word because I can't access a PDF and all of the forms that are required in order to submit. They're in PDF. Okay, you can, and I took a screenshot of that. This is a means of engaging in merely just passage of time. And let me point something out. This is the intricacy of details when you're dealing with what is Satan, okay? As I am filling out the applications, the minions that are surrounding in relevant position are monitoring. They're monitoring while I'm on the phone with the San Bernardino County, everything that I am stating, because it states that it is a recorded phone call, and I use that as a means of documentation, speaking to the fact that San Bernardino County has engaged in a pattern of theft of this entitlement, and doing so outside of its own written policy, which the entity does. This is what the court did, okay? They're breaking the law. They're breaking their own policies. That is the literal description of what criminal obstruction of justice is. The entity does this so frequently, this is how I'm able to create a policy, because this is how you are identifying it. They're literally engaging in breaking their own policies, breaking the law, because they're engaged in a criminal act, okay? And all of it is serving the purpose of trying to obstruct justice, okay? And so while I am filling out what is a Word document, which is impossible to upload to the See for Yourself website, this person is not ignorant of that, okay? Helicopter activity is amplified over the library, okay? And understand the deliberate conduct, the intent behind that. First of all, while you're not able to hear a helicopter inside of the library, this is the intentional targeting of such audible activity, while the minions are also around in here doing this. You hear that knocking sound? They are stalking with audible activity as they are hitting the tables with simultaneity to what I'm doing on the internet. As I make any sudden move, it's the same demonic activity that is surrounding me inside of this venue. And this is what, and not just the table, you're talking about the book carts. So while they go around with the book carts and all they're doing is maintaining presence and stalking with activity, it's demonic activity. And understand San Bernardino County engaged in the P.O.C. by stating that they did not receive my form and she can't open a PDF format, which is, that's entirely untrue. You can't even upload through the See for Yourself website anything outside of, you can't upload a Word document, in other words. PDF are the forms that they provide, okay? This is a means of just taking up time of doing that while the state is amplifying helicopter activity inside of this library, while the minions that surround are just beating around on the surfaces, surrounding with communication devices, monitoring with that state, while the state's fake sun is over this building, on the end facing the Laverne College of Law, by the way. And that's because this is where I'm sitting. And so I also want to speak to what is the engagement in the withholding information. In actuality, they did receive and this is just going through and examining what's on the site. Instead of telling the truth that Erica did in fact have access to my account, San Bernardino County received it. They sent to me through the See for Yourself site the form that you sign electronically, and then you e-sign it, and then you sign with a pen. First of all, I wasn't given any of this information, and I never created a pen. And so what is the obstruction there? First of all, having me spend time to fill out an application that I don't need to submit 3 and 4 times, which I also noted on the application. I uploaded all of this. This is going toward the pattern of conduct as San Bernardino County is engaged in it, okay? I spend time on that application, which has already been received, sending me the application to sign it electronically and provide a pen. This pen I have not created, and so they're asking me questions to get access to the pen under questions that I did not save. So when you create your account, you create secret questions. They're asking me questions that I did not save. What's my favorite sports team is not a question that I selected to have an answer for. This is monitoring on the internet. So this is the entity that's monitoring and also actively engaging in what is just blocking step by step the ability to complete the task. Okay, that's what the significance of that. I never picked that question. And so anyway, I am able to sign it. I create a subsidiary ID, my same name, and I sign it electronically, which is what Erica, this is the one that's identifying herself as Erica, should have told me, okay? Because in reality, she did receive it. They are able to open PDFs. How are you unequipped to open documents that the very site and the internet provide as a means of submitting the paperwork online electronically, okay? This is very improbable.
And this is also the absence of that reality where the state is amplifying helicopter activity as I am engaging in this conduct, and the group stalkers that surround inside of the Ontario OVITT Family Community Library engaged in what is demonic activity while they're monitoring with communication devices, knocking around and hitting on the bookshelves and patrolling around me, around the bookcases while they're monitoring all together. Okay, this is the creepy stalker. This is the entity. And this is using the means that the San Bernardino County has. They're part of the entity engaging in that. And that is criminal obstruction of justice. And this is the juvenile, sophomoric, all right? That's the substance of that conduct, but it is highly criminal. The purpose is to obstruct justice, thinking that they are stopping me in one way or another from working on publishing documentation, okay? And let me be clear, the coexistence of the state stalking conduct with this harassment by San Bernardino County is the absence of coincidence. This is spelling out what is the ongoing pattern of conduct. And this is what I noted on the application as I uploaded 3 different ones, not told that actually all I needed to do was electronically sign and that I needed some PIN, which I never created. So I had to go through myself and create that whole PIN while subject to monitoring the entire time, okay? Requiring information for secret questions that I did not pick when I created my See For Yourself account. This is all monitoring. Okay, I've shown how the state engages in, and the minions that are surrounding are monitoring on the venue of the internet. They're all engaging in that together. So San Bernardino County acting with the minions that are surrounding me in relevant position, monitoring on the internet, creating what is additional tasks to do that I actually don't have to do. I submitted it successfully. I did it in the manner that is required. And she is stating, oh, I can't access a PDF. All right. And she's working for the county. And this is how you provide your forms in PDF format. And you're not able to upload it in any other format. Okay. JPEG, PDF. You cannot upload a Word format, okay? And I took images of that. I just want to make sure I note that. That's going toward San Bernardino County. This is the entity engaging in that, okay? This is how the government, this is the state, and these are the resources that it uses to engage in that pattern of conduct. This is relevant to criminal obstruction of justice. It is 4:56 p.m. and that is the P.O.C. Erica Lorraine Spencer here at Third Party Facilitating Venue, acting with San Bernardino County. So you're seeing how that conduct is all tied together. They're one entity acting together. Okay, that's P.O.C. It's 4:57 p.m. That is a helicopter flying over me while you have the state loitering on the side of Lemon at HOLT, creating substantial light activity with the helicopter activity. They're monitoring at Ontario Town Square at the 280 North Lemon Avenue Apartments. License plate 8KCZ 872. And understand that's the Securitas. That's the third-party group stalker. They're monitoring. The state is providing light activity while the state, what you heard was helicopter activity. And Securitas crossed this path. Securitas is the third-party security company. So they walk past right now on the sidewalk while the state is creating substantial light and flying over in helicopter. 6JDW 421 89D 587. That's a Nevada plate. 13247X2. 8BSL 405, 5HEF 125. All right, so seconds after the helicopter, you have a plane that flies over the same street, 90120A1. That's just ongoing audible activity while the state is stalking via AMR ambulance. They're just sitting in the middle of the street with their lights on, okay? They've been monitoring the entire time I've been listening to my podcast, and the state starts sounding helicopter as I pack up my belongings and anticipating my going to B&G Plaza to purchase food as I have been. And so AMR is group stalking on this side of the street where I would not walk to see them. I go toward Ontario Town Square to get license plates as the state is creating audible activity, and this is the light activity that the state is also creating. 5VVV 101 that was monitoring this morning. Okay, that's a license plate. License 21577B1 4CGL144 8F46079. And understand that they are monitoring with Metro 1 and 2 apartments that entire residential community engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. Criminal facilitation by the people and criminal facilitation by the state. That is AMR ambulance that they're engaged in monitoring together. 8ELX435. That is the property where the state is loitering. Creating light activity, acting with the state, sounding plane and helicopter. 6TOX 608, 8SUG 741, 7R 75238, 8SVJ 360.
It is 8:47 p.m. by the way. Here's helicopter while AMR is right in front of me, sitting for a prolonged period, now moving. Let me get this. Alrighty, I just captured substantial video of the state acting via Ontario Police, acting via AMR Ambulance, and acting via Ontario Fire Department. Let me get on my podcast. Ontario Fire license 1332569, Ontario Police 1532793, and I got the third license plate of the Ontario Police Department. This one that's molesting with light, acting with the state. All right, that is license plate. Oh, no license plate on that. It's a blue BMW pulling into Metro 102. That entire community is subject to prosecution. They're in relevant position monitoring with the state. And that is going down as what is federally speaking, that is criminal summoning. And it's criminal facilitation. And it is also molestation while they're engaging in that criminal activity. 7CAW937, acting with the state, loitering in relevant position, acting with the ambulance, acting with the police department, acting with the fire department. 7R40564. 8SJH483, 8MFJ613, 8EVW766, 6CDH052, molesting with light. Remember, they do this as one group. So what one does, they're all doing together. This is license 7WRS252, 7JOF929. All right, and again, that helicopter activity begins as I begin packing up my property. What the state is doing with helicopter is not a question. This is the same criminal pattern of conduct, and I happen to capture what is the state stalking on the opposite side of the street, using its vehicles for lights. That's also to be addressed under federal policy. The criminal abuse of their emergency vehicles to engage in criminal monitoring of an American citizen and engaging in literally the harm and corruption of, Satan-serving minions. They are. But you're talking about the state that's engaging in criminal facilitation of that conduct. All right, and so that has to be addressed in the federal policy. Regardless of the fact that these are third parties who are dubious, regardless, you're engaging in satanic conduct, you already have issues. But it cannot be unaddressed, the fact that the government is facilitating that criminal activity and doing so with the people of the state. Group stalkers in relevant position in the parking lot, helicopter over my head, 8MAF571. 8VRP650, 8CIH080. All right. I did just capture another video. That's why I've got to pause there. 7MAP426, 7AAV726. And that was a third-party group stalker in a van. He swoops through in the parking lot, makes a U-turn, and comes right back out. He wants to make sure that he's getting in the path because those two are the stationary in presence. And they're using their headlights as light activity, helping the Ontario Police Department, the Fire Department, AMR ambulance, helping the state that's flying over my head in helicopter, okay? While they're in the Metro 102 apartment, like parking lot area. And as they remain stationary, you have another one. They're one group, another one that comes in and swoops in the parking lot, makes a U-turn, and then exits out in order to touch with light. All right? 7WLN429, 6XNN202. This is audible activity. 7DTZ092. BD91L19, and the VIN number on this paper plate is WBA3B1C55EK132247. It's a BMW. Looks like it expires. This paper says it expires July 8th, 2021. License plate 7DTZ092. Yeah, I read that one already. 5UAE144, 6P. XA523, 5BHU306. All right, in that video, you are witnessing with your own eyes what is, first of all, what's relevant to the criminal case. You're witnessing the criminal activity of the state acting directly. The fire department, the police department, and the American Medical Response ambulance, okay? But what you are also witnessing is you are looking at the operation of Satan over those state actors, all right? And that's the relevant context. You're looking at them. They're demons in the natural. You're not going to see them smoke coming out of their necks or their ears or anything like that. That's not what demons look like. You witness demons. They're just wearing uniforms, and they were engaged in that stalking conduct, engaging in the exact same pattern of conduct. And I have the case is already established. There is no question about what I just captured yet again. And what I want to make sure that I reiterate, because it is relevant context, and it does need to be known that these are no ordinary criminal acts. I captured in video before your eyes what is the ability to witness demonic activity. And that's exactly what that was. So that is the video that I captured. But besides that, with regard to criminal monitoring, all the elements are present. The hallmarks are present as well. Literally the helicopter flying over my head, following me. Understand, the helicopter wasn't flying over Metro 102. It was flying over where I was, amplified over where I was as I began packing up my property. And this is what is prefacing that. And the helicopter flies over my head as I approach the state actors, and I get them on video. There is the ongoing daily conduct of helicopter activity where I am stalking me by helicopter. Literally, I mean, I'm not even going to go into that because I have already established it. 8SPP289, 7RZG677, 7834, 5W1, 5JTH, or 5JIH133. 7WTZ4, I read that one already. It's P.O.C. The helicopter activity, amplification of some motorcycle, the train. The state is literally just applying a microphone to noise. This is demonic. 8HQK516. That's P.O.C. Let's get this group stalker coming out of the parking lot. And it is 8:56 p.m. License plate 8TXV768. I think I got that license plate already. And that is POC 488-7803, 8KRM304, 4387803. Excuse me. I think that's the right point. 8ULW290. 8TCM454. 87757A2. Alrighty, and that is it's 8:57 p.m. All right, as I've already established, the state is always directing light. That's exactly what's ongoing. The state is always stalking by planes and helicopters. That's exactly what's ongoing. The state is always amplifying activity. That's exactly what is ongoing. And the state is stalking with light, acting through these third parties who I happen to encounter crossing path using their vehicles. CAMAC, a figure like star, and the number 5, 8LXB394. And 6SGR522, 8ETS 618, 8TGJ 557, 6PQL 497. This is literally Satan. That's Satan. A psychopath, a weirdo, and whose secrets have been blown up. That's what I'm doing. And you need to know, it needs to be clear in the secular, 2R8RKDZ. This operation of Satan over an individual renders that individual a psychopath, okay? And that's what this is. And the pattern of conduct establishes what is a psychopath. 8CRX 940. 8MFJ 613. Yeah, that's the weirdo that came in to swoop through the parking lot, made a U-turn just to get out, make sure I kept light on me, right? Acting with the third parties that were loitering in the parking lot. That is P.O.C. Listen to Satan. All right, it is personified through the very criminal activity. It is personified through the very stalking conduct with light. That's how Satan is personified. The very pattern of conduct itself reveals what I am speaking to as the relevant context, that it is not only criminal, it's unprecedented because it's the government that's engaging in it and operating it, but it is also satanic. 8:59 p.m. 7C QG 403, 8TGJ 419, I believe. 6NRS 951. All right, and before I arrive right now, B&G Plaza, located at 310 to 410 East Holt Boulevard, they're all monitoring. They're monitoring in the drive-thru at Andy's Burgers. They're monitoring being in that parking lot. They're monitoring on Transit. They're monitoring on Holt Boulevard. They are monitoring on Sultana. All right, and so they are already in position. The state's stalking, and understand, had I walked this way, the state was in relevant position on the front part of Metro, providing substantial light activity. So as I walk to B&G Plaza, they are all monitoring to that in enhanced light tactic, because that's what it is. That's what the fire department was doing. That's what the AMR ambulance and the police department was doing. 7ZGM 892. Okay, so they're providing light over there, while the third parties that surround me inside B&G Plaza, as I go to make a purchase, for example, are surrounding me in close presence. License plate 8SKF 912 are surrounding me in close presence, and for the purposes of that criminal cooperation for monitoring. 8TXV 768 crossing path again. That's a black male. Helicopter flying over the street also while he's doing so. License G60C, 3CE. That's an out-of-state plate. 4WET 876, 8KTM 461, 8KYV 360, 8AUK 639. Can't really see that one that clearly. All right, they're all in relevant position already at B&G Plaza monitoring, which is on the surveillance cameras. Surveillance cameras are documentation of the state's operation of its criminal system, acting through the people. And in this regard, the people document themselves. 6UJR 312. 6VPG 368. I can't really see that one that clearly. And I don't think I ever pressed the button. All right, light activity by sitting at the traffic light. All right, group stalking. The state is flying over the same intersection where I'm walking in the crosswalk. It is flying over by plane, inaudibly. 7BWM229 creates facilitating light activity for that criminal objective, okay? 7YBH768, engaging in presence, monitoring, creating light activity, stalking by sitting in their car at a traffic light, okay? This is what the Ontario Fire Department, AMR ambulance, and the police department were doing at Metro on Lemon, on the opposite side of the building where I sit at the library. That's exactly what they were doing. All right, who's monitoring with the state? 5TSL044. 7MWZ947. 6GZS332. It is 9:02 p.m. and these are the group stalkers loitering in relevant position, engaged in light activity and stalking conduct, monitoring with communication devices vicariously on behalf of the state via sitting in the drive-thru. All right, 7WNG225 and 8RXC284, 8WIN369, 7BWM229 is crossing path now. 7YBH768 is crossing path now. Third, that's audible activity by the state. Supposedly there's no fireworks allowed in Ontario. That's the police department engaging in breaking the law. They're criminals and they're sex offenders and they're kidnappers. 4MYICON, 7PQK267, 7YJK465, 6XSF753, 8ROK694, 8BDA783, 5TAM895. The entirety of this parking lot is monitoring. Getting in line is the easiest way. This is the same thing they do at Starbucks, for example. 2ZDZ175. This is the ease with which the people, all right, the face of the state that is monitoring you, engage in it. All right, and it's demonic activity in operation. These are psychopaths that are all listening to me at the same time. And what the state was doing over there that I captured, those demons that I captured in uniform, they were providing light activity for these minions over here to monitor to. Okay? That's what that was about. And then the state is patrolling by helicopter. That's what that criminal teamwork is about. That's called criminal summoning, criminal facilitation by both the people and the state directly. They're enabling each other. The outward provision of form. All right? This is the ongoing pattern of conduct. It is 9:05 p.m. 5TAM895, in case I didn't read that one. Yeah, 2ZDZ175, I read that one. (8LWU440), 8VBB074, group stalker coming to meet in the parking lot, driving. That's audible activity, crossing path with light. This is monitoring. You're witnessing it right now. 7WNG225 and BBF23. 7YWS780, 4XDV968. It's 9:06 p.m. 7ZDZ684. License plate 7HCM281. And it is 9:06 p.m. and the state is flying over this plaza by helicopter. Let me show you that. right, I did capture more video of what is the state stalking by helicopter over the plaza. This is what the third parties around SCHIRO'S Liquor are doing. This is, we're awaiting my arrival, just loitering on the sidewalk around the store. Okay. That is the state flying over, just like what I captured in video, and Omnitrans intentionally pulls up. That's creation of audible activity and light activity. Acting in concert with the group stalkers that are in relevant position across the parking lot, the same plaza, via Andy's Burgers. Okay, acting with the same group that's patrolling on Holt Boulevard. All right, acting with the same group that's in their private residences on Ontario Town Square townhomes and Metro 102 apartments. Okay, it's P.O.C. It is 9:08 p.m. All right, license plate 6GZS332. Light activity in front of the store, and I want to document the owner. And actually, he's not the owner. He's an employee. The other third party is the owner here. But I want to speak to what is harassment. All right, using anything as a means to threaten the ability to go to this establishment where they're engaging in criminal activity. Okay, this is 410 East Holt Boulevard, called SCHIRO'S Liquor, and I asked for a coupon. I'm sorry, not a coupon. Excuse me. I asked for a receipt after I completed a purchase, and in the state of California, you actually owe that receipt, which is a proof of purchase, at an establishment after you purchase something. I don't care how ghetto of a liquor store it is. And the reality is that it's not a matter of being ghetto. It's a matter of the documented presence, which it's documented based on the cameras. It's documented based on my ongoing documentation of criminal activity that I'm subject to inside of that store, outside of that store, walking past that store, in relevant position to this store. And he engages with his audible activity, refusing to give me a receipt, gives me a receipt, and then threatens that I'm not going to be able to purchase anything else if I ask for a receipt again. Okay, now what he says is attributed to the store. He's not the owner, but he's speaking as though he is the owner. And I just want to be clear on that. The state is flying over this parking lot in helicopter, and that license plate that I just recited, what he's doing is he's being present with his headlights, okay? And he's present monitoring while that exchange is ongoing, and as I exit the store, referencing the security cameras. License plate 3SIK409. This one that was, oh no, this is a different one. 6SOE476. Yeah, this is a different one. This is a thought. Yeah, Satan heard me call her a thought. She is a thought, and she's also serving Satan. This is license plate 6SOE476, molesting with light, with that thought anthem that she has playing. That's P.O.C. This is the same parking lot where the state is flying over in helicopter, and it is acting with SCHIRO'S Liquor. Understand, you're talking about what's satanic conduct, and so they also communicate hostility through the criminal activity that they're engaged in. So as she molests with light, she blasts her music, as I'm talking about the criminal activity and harassment and ongoing inside of SCHIRO'S Liquor. Okay, this third party also seen on the surveillance cameras. 2 of them, females. P.O.C. It is currently 9:18 p.m. Light activity by the headlights and audible activity as you hear them enter, acting with the state. That's ongoing criminal facilitation. The criminal act of facilitation is ongoing as the P.O.C. is ongoing. But I'm just spelling it out as I'm speaking to and capturing criminal activity bit by bit. You're talking about understanding what facilitation looks like. All right, but the ongoing criminal system of monitoring by a government acting in concert with the people is an ongoing system of criminal facilitation by both the state acting directly and vicariously. It's criminal facilitation on its least basis. So that is an inherent federal charge with regard to what the government is engaged in when it's operating a system of federal group stalking and monitoring. All right, it is 9:19 p.m. License plate 7LGY297. Let me get this. This is a little pincy little four-door Corolla. And while their headlights are not very bright, what the state is intentionally doing is exceptionally bright headlights. That's supposed to be the guise in which all of this light hits me as this car enters. The headlights are not very bright on this car. Okay, that's the criminal concerted conduct of the people. 7LGY297 is a sex offender. 6SOE476, a sex offender and a thought. All right, probably doesn't have very many goals or accomplishments in life other than engaging in criminal activity. When she gets out the car, they're airheads. This is P.O.C. at B&G Plaza. This is speaking to the criminal facilitation, the harassment by the people of the state. They act as one group. Okay, Satan acting over a people at one time that are hostile to being documented. Okay. This is the group stalkers that loiter sitting in their car. They're acting with the group stalkers in 6SOE476 that back out as the state flies over the plaza. All right, it's P.O.C. Reverse lights are light activity. The stereo is audible activity. All right, they're sitting in the car with the headlights, and this is the plane flying over the plaza, audible activity. All right, now the one molesting with the state, acting with the state that's flying over, 7LGY297. That's P.O.C. Like I said, thoughts, they are. Airheads, they are. But don't be confused, because the criminals in the court of law that have education behind them, they're criminals, the same Satan in operation over them, acting pursuant to the same criminal system. 2 ZDZ 175, molesting with light as the state flies over. Audible activity using the vehicle. All right, so just because those third parties happen to be airheads, it does not remove the fact, understand it's irrespective of your specific identity. That those literally are airheads, though. Those are thoughts engaging in criminal activity, which is probably what they do on a basis, but not of this degree and prosecuted to this extent, and engaging in conduct that's going to be added to the totality of the group, that they're acting as one. So as those airheads engage in that criminal activity, it's attributed to the entire group. And I think I've read all of these license plates already in the plaza. They're all monitoring together. They're all monitoring to that thought music that those third parties were playing while the state is molesting with light, while the third party crosses path, sits in the parking lot, flies over the parking lot while they just loiter in their car. Group stalker coming down. License plate 8KPP992. All right, group stalkers loitering in the drive-thru of Andy's Burgers. They look like they've eaten enough. Looks like license plate. Oh, no license plate on that blue Dodge. Not brand new at all. It's a Penske. I think, oh no, a Penske piece of paper on that license plate. It's driven by 2 African-American, well, driven by 1 African-American female. African-American in the passenger side as well. And covering up the license plate. Understand that they know very well that they're being documented. They're on the cameras at the venue. They're African-American. They're big girls sitting in that blue vehicle with the license plates covered up. Okay, that's criminal obstruction of justice. This is license plate 8E1L855 or 8ETL855. It's 9:23 p.m. Oh, there we go. Alrighty. Let me get this license plate. Waits until I start moving to drive past. Impossible light on the wall. 8UKX518. 5UDK757. 67775W1. Yeah, 8ETL855 is that license plate. MZAVILA. 6UIW098. 6SRV663. 8JDW770. 8KDB562 or 8KD, yeah, B562. 5XTK801. 7UIH393. 57817F2. 5YOK. I can't really see the rest of that plane. Omnitrans crossing path intentionally creates that audible activity as they cross path, okay? This is the maintenance of an environment. 5CC E159, I believe. License 2931A1. 8VER185. 33178E1. Substantially slim. I can't really see that one that clearly. And this is license plate C 7KRU411. It is 9:25 p.m. 7VDS190. That's P.O.C. The demonic activity of the people of the state and the government itself engaging in what is federal group stalking and monitoring, which is satanic. It's satanic activity. and that is documentation going from the library to the third-party facilitating venue, B&G Plaza, right toward the museum, the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. All right, you're witnessing how Satan itself conducts itself. Oh, the same African-American females just chilling on the back street of Emporia, ain't nothing back there, with no license plate, got their do-rags on their head, stalking in the dark on the back street of Emporia to cross path as I walk finally from the parking lot, okay? And so you have what is the waiting, that's the waiting conduct. That's why they drove back to the dead-end street of Emporia to drive past and cross path again. Because there's nothing back there. I mean, even if there was, by the way, even if there was something back there whereby they could engage in form for, I went back there to go to the other drive-thru and get a milkshake with my fries that I just got at Andy's Burgers. It is still the same crossing a path conduct. It is still the same stalking conduct. It is 9:27 p.m. License plate 85814R1. Meeting at the intersection of Transit and Lemon in order to touch with light. All right, that's the sex offender. The one that engages in kidnapping, the one that's engaging in sitting in the bathroom and listening to you undress, and that's the sex offender that wants to touch and be everywhere you're at, listen to everything you do, listening to your bodily functions, engaging in theft of your property, engaging in invading whatever space you are with light, engaging in demonic conduct with that light while it wants to be and occupy that space. That is what is crossing path the people of the state. All right, that is 9:28 p.m. 7DHJ 526. It is 9:29 p.m. It is currently 9:29 p.m. approaching the intersection of what is Euclid and Transit. Waiting for a group stalker. Alrighty. Here come the minions. It is 9:30, referencing the traffic cameras. And this is license plate 7MRC437. Speaking to crossing a path and the location where I'm at. They're patrolling up Euclid Avenue, 8CFG 681, 8KL 7802. Oh, let's get this one. 7ZQB 467, 3MMX 380, 8VMV 131, 8719 7Y2, 8HOY 554, 7GKA 389, 26474 F2, 8UNV 308, 8HDC 640, 8RDB 544, 6YDP 849, 4HOT 623. That is J. Moore Landscape. J. Moore Landscape Corp. It's a commercial vehicle to engage in crossing a path and light activity while the state is popping off what's supposed to be like a fireworks audible activity. License plate, and the state is flying over the median as well. 8JEX 515. 7SMA 831, 8FSA 209, 4PFY 520. It is 9:31 p.m.